The problem is most of you and me too are being lied to in the world, in the market about marketing and what to do and what not to do. That's a big problem. And your number one enemy is distraction. But then on top of that, traditional marketing is dead. You could almost do the same thing in a calendar. And I've always loved using calendars because I can kind of see the progression. Because when you're new, you might, it might feel daunting to be thinking of all this stuff that you'd have to do, whether it's marketing or fulfillment. But if you really compared to where you are now, if you started adding a once a week touch point for the first 100 days, which is only 12, 13 weeks ish, right? So right. What does that mean? Now, once a week, that's only 13 touches. Well, okay, how can that even might be one extra phone call from your team per week, right. 13 times. And then I'm going to call it the basic version where you are now. And then as you get better at it, you might then add, okay, we're going to send, a little card once every 60 days. And so you'd add that in the calendar of the 60 day. And so now, twice in that 13 weeks, they'd be getting a card, for example. Another version of that, you might send them, a gift, right? You might make a note of their birthday. You might make a note of an anniversary, right? So there are some of these things to be able to do where you can simplify it. You don't have to, overcomplicate it, because here's all of you, please write this down. This is so incredibly important and powerful in your journey of I just realized I'm not on. All right. In your journey, we call it the hop. You want to humanize it, optimize it, personalize it. If you think from that place, in my first 100 days experience, and this can be marketing or fulfillment, what do I want to create that more humanizes, optimizes it for both sides, by the way, not just them, but also you, and has the personalization? You'd be amazed. I'll give you a couple that all of you could implement, and you'll probably see some of this in some of the marketing things, but a thank you card goes a long way. Physical, not just an email, but you could do an email one and another one. Like another thing in the first 13 weeks, it's inevitable that there's holidays in the 13 weeks of every experience that you could make a note to have your team send, a jib jab video on one holiday a month to those clients that is predetermined, and it could go to all clients. And although that's automated, it feels personalized, right? On top of the calls, on top of cards, on top of some other gift that you might, anyway. So hopefully all of you start to see this and your view becomes principle-based along with tactical, not just tactical. Humanize, the principle-based way of looking at this is humanize. Oh, and now I just realized that's not on the screen. So let me pull that up. Humanize, optimize, personalize, right? That's great. All right, who else? Who's going to go next? What are your biggest action steps from this segment? And what are your key takeaways? I want to do at least one other person. Someone raise your hand. Someone step up to your bigger self, your bigger future. Cheryl, Hans, Jason, Tom, Andrew, somebody raise your hand. Just raise your hand. You hit the little icon, raise your hand, and whoever's going to do that first is going to get called on if I see it. All right, I'm just going to call on somebody. Andrew, what are your key action steps from this segment, and what are your takeaways?
I think it would be a good idea as well to have regular weekly meetings to make sure that everyone is on the same page with, I guess, short-term and long-term goals as well, and being focused, and that would help the communication with messaging and the business values and just everything overall.
That's good. Any other key takeaways?
Maybe eventually, right now it's not a huge priority, but recruiting to grow in different areas instead of having, like my dad, he's on this call as well, but him doing so many things. If there was a couple more people, maybe also to pass other jobs, smaller jobs, to some other people. So
yeah, and something to consider is like once a month you might send an email out. We're hiring. Do you know of someone who might be a good fit? And then have a brief description. It could go to something as simple as a Google form. It doesn't even need to be fancy pants on a site. It can just be pretty simple, laid out. Yeah. You send it to your customers, like literally all your customers, and let them know, do you know of somebody? And they might refer you somebody. Plus what it does psychologically, if you imagine if you did that once a month, 12 times a year, Andrew, what that would do is give them confidence, certainty, comfort that you're growing, not shrinking. Like it also can become a dual strategy. Uber did this. They started flooding the airways at one time when their reputation score went way, way down. They started talking about hiring. And it gave people more and more confidence. And they saw that actually their revenue and sales went up, even though the ads they were running were not for sales, they were for hiring. Counterintuitive, but it's it can work. And something like an email can be something done. It could be a post on social media regularly once a month, and build it in also like a calendar. You just pick the day of the month, email, and so it doesn't need fancy and one social media post 12 times a year. And again, we got to move away from expectation. Oh, I put out one ad and I put out hundreds and thousands of ads that never got a response. It doesn't mean me or marketing doesn't work at all. That's the biggest lie. And, that is one of the reasons most people quit on themselves eventually, is because they just, they don't understand that, these things have a journey and a lifespan. So that's really good. Anything else you want to add, Andrew, before we move to this next topic?
No, I'm good for right now.
Awesome. Now, really quick, because a question came in from someone new and said, how can I work with you guys? I just want to break this out really fast. If you want help with execution, even if you wanted to sign up for something, which we don't even make available here, what we do is we have a one-to-one consultation, a scaling review together, review your business, do it in 2 parts. Typically, we give you a custom plan of what we would do if we were you. And then, if it's a fit, we'll talk about the options to work with us. So if you want help with execution of the things we're talking about, especially related to your marketing and growth and different things like that, and have a fractional CMO team plus a CEO on board, plus a team that can actually just execute all the things we're talking about, you can go to breakthrough3x.com/apply. We'll help you with tools, systems, and the team to help take ideas, help you execute more, help you get a system in place. And instead of paying high fees, if you tried to hire it on your own, which you usually have to go through 10 people to get one good one, instead of having to, work with amateurs where you're not really sure what they do, right, at super high fees, and or if you're looking at doing any kind of specialty work as well, if you're looking at any kind of specialty work at all, like doing any kind of promotions or campaigns like webinar challenges, launches, book models, book campaigns, where the fees can be anywhere from $45,000 to hundreds of thousands plus percentages on sale. The beauty of ours is it's fractional. It's fractional because we've already hired a team and, vetted through all that stuff. And number 2 is we can bring it to you where you're getting literally a $50,000 a month team for a fraction of what it would be. And you get access to our web team, our tech team, our copywriting team, graphics, email, SEO, marketing, and so on if we've got a good fit. So if you want to take that first step to learn how we might be able to help you with that, go to breakthrough3x.com/execution. That's breakthrough3x.com/execution. So with that in mind, we are going to roll into this next segment, which is one that can be so powerful. If you're looking for a way to be able to grow exponentially, if you're looking for a way to be able to grow your cash flow, to grow your growth, and discover some of the strategies, these are new strategies that the top most successful companies, Apple, Nike, the biggest companies in the world are using right here, right now. And you can be using them too for a tiny budget, tiny amounts, and have a big impact. And we're going to show you how to roll that in. So we've knocked out phases and the foundation pieces of the business roadmap. Now we're going to get into marketing and these 5 pillars. So the first one is vision and growth plan, connection campaigns, lead machines, education-based events, and then going deep. And this is the 5-pillar system that all the companies we've reviewed that are successful. We've reviewed over 5,000 companies, including Apple, Nike, the NFL, Disney, a whole lot more, plus a lot of our clients, a lot in between. 5,000 companies, they all are operating within these 5 structures, which is so incredibly important. The problem is most of you and me too are being lied to in the market about marketing and what to do and what not to do. That's a big problem. And your number one enemy is distraction. But then on top of that, traditional marketing is dead in the process. Because have you ever heard this? Have you ever heard that the way to go out and have success is to do branding for your business? Do branding. You get your logo pretty, get your graphics pretty, how many have heard this? I know certain experts that teach this and they get people all consumed about their logo and their thing. Branding. That's one side of it. The other side, you'll meet experts who go, no, it's not branding. Branding's for dummies. And they go direct response marketing. Only do things you can measure. Only do things where you can generate a lead or generate a sale. Have you heard this too? Me too. And that's marketing for dummies too, by itself, right? Another version of this. Have you ever heard, the way to go out and do this is to sell, sell, sell. That's all you do. Anything you put out is just to sell, and it creates a conversion, creates an opportunity for a conversion and an action to convert. Have you ever heard this? That would be a direct response marketing strategy by itself. The other one is, oh no, if you go out and teach, you'll teach them into submission, essentially. They'll be like my little dog and lay on his back and wait for his belly to be rubbed. And they'll lay down and buy your products. Have you heard that? That would be like a branding strategy. Or maybe you heard, this misnomer, that to get them to buy from you, Andrew, to get them to buy from you, they must know you, like you, and trust you. I call balderdash. I call BS. That is not true whatsoever. All of you right here, right now, you have bought things from people you don't know enough to like, but you bought it anyway. Yet most of the top experts in the world that you follow teach that they must, not should, not might, not, it's a category. They must know you, they must like you, and they must trust you. And it just isn't true. Let me give you an example. My daughter started dating somebody, brought him to our house. I got a chance to meet him for the first time. Now, I love my daughter. Do you love your daughter if you have one? Of course you do. May not always like them, right? Especially if they're teenagers. But nonetheless, she brought him over. So what did I have when I met him? I had a mutual respect, and I got a chance to be introduced, so getting a chance to know him. What did I have? I had low trust. I had respect because it's my daughter. And as a dad, a protective, and my daughter would probably say an overprotective dad, SOB, overprotective dad, maybe, possibly. My trust level or like level of anybody that dates my daughter is a little bit low. But because I have respect for her, I bought into the idea that she was going to take him on, or he was going to take her out on a date. Well, maybe it was her. I don't know. She's pretty strong-willed. Do you understand what I'm saying? So this paradigm is false. It's not accurate. It's not true. And I'm going to show you a new way to be thinking about your client journey. Talk about the first 100 days, just like the fulfillment experience. I'm going to talk about your client journey to really get you to tune into this at a new level that most people don't think about. But it requires these 5 steps, and you want to write these down. You might want to take a picture of this. So the very first key is the vision and growth plan. Get clear on what you're doing in your plan. Clarity, optics, get a plan. And one of top 3 reasons that most businesses fail, according to Small Business Administration, a report they did in 2017 found that the biggest reason that most small businesses fail is they don't have a current marketing plan. They don't know who, they don't know what, they don't know where, they don't know why. We're going to help you uncover some of that today. Number 2, and if we go deeper, we can really help you with it. Number 2 is connection campaigns. We'll talk about connection campaigns. Number 3, lead machines. Number 4, education-based conversion event. Do you know that twice a year, Apple hosts an education-based conversion event and does hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars, and then off the follow-up of all of it, they do billions a year, billions a quarter, some would say billions a month, using education-based events. Yet most people go, oh, it's too complicated. And that's a big enemy as well. You think it's too complicated. It's not. You can do this with tiny budgets, tiny teams, tiny staff, and still have a big impact in your market. We'll show you how. So here's a key piece that you want to look at. We'll now go through the psychology of what it really takes to get someone to buy from you that most people just aren't aware of. So when people meet us, obviously to have a chance for them to go to you, they got to know you. If they don't know you, they're not going to go to you. True or false? There's no chance in heck for them to go to you to buy from you if they don't know you, right? So this is the evolution. First thing, you got to get them to know you. Then they got to respect you in your niche, right? It's better to be different than it is to be better. So, and that's a categorization factor that you can win more probably than trying to be better than people who've got a head start on you. That's why we take that focus. Now, here's the real belief. It's actually both. You want to become the better of everybody in your category, but in the beginning, focus on being unique. Because for you to try to catch up to a company that's 10 times your senior is a tough go, isn't it? It's a tough go. So instead of trying to compete on what everybody else does, focus on being unique while you're working to be better than them and dominate them in a few years, right? So respect. They respect you as an authority. They respect you as an expert. They respect what you put out. They respect that you're going to fulfill your promise. Like, we work with a lot of service businesses, as you may know, contractors, service business owners who own, companies, electrical, plumbing, HVAC, these sort of solar, et cetera. And the reason we can help clients win in some cases is because those companies that can just serve their clients and actually follow up and actually show up and actually do a phone call when they say they're going to and actually be at the home when they say they're going to, win. So then setting up marketing is, it's like a magic trick to a certain degree. None of it's ever easy, but that's how you can win, is just do the little things. So respect. Next part of the psychological journey when we meet somebody and are trying to, essentially whether, and by the way, this works in dating. It works in dating if you're single. It works in business. This is the psychological factor to move people, to get people to buy from us. It's not what the experts have been. A lot of it, it's not their fault either. They mean well. Here's a byproduct, by the way. When you get someone to know you, respect you, and trust you, the byproduct of that is usually they're going to like you too. But all of us have probably bought from Amazon this week or this month or this last quarter, maybe. You don't know Elon Musk enough to know whether you like him. You've never met him, most likely. It's okay, but you didn't buy because you liked him. You bought because you knew of him. You trusted the company and the brand, and maybe you've seen interviews because that's what they're doing. We're going to show you how to do that for yourself. And there's a trust factor there that comes. Trust is earned. Would you agree? And we'll talk about more on trust. Then what happens is we go from the marketing side to now you're starting to get into the sales side. And you want to think of it in terms they're testing you. This could be they're testing you and your team with a phone call. They're testing your team to see if you show up. And the same thing goes for you with a client. One of the easiest things to do with interviewing and hiring and recruiting, for example, is to do a couple interviews. Because anybody can make a good first impression, but show somebody that can actually show up 3 to 5 times, looking great, sounding great, being great 3 to 5 times. Usually that's a better trend than the person who looks great I remember making this mistake in hiring, Andrew, when you're talking about that. And somebody else mentioned that a little bit earlier. I think it was Mike McVetti. And I remember sitting, I got my top guy. They look good, sound good, feel good. Oh my God, it's amazing. And they turned out to be the biggest dud in the world. Like, oh my God, what happened to this person? They look so good. I found a little change, like do 3 to 5 different interviews over time. And let's see. And we do the same. Our version is we do the same thing with potential clients. How about you? Are you really looking to have alignment and values with your clients? Or is it just purely trend? Now, either can work, but you decide what that is. So it's test it or try it. Think of it like a puppy dog close, a test it or try it model. Then they buy into it. See, how would you like to have more people buy what you do instead of you having to sell it? This is the progression. Get them to know you, get them to respect you, get them to trust. There's certain companies like Apple. You and I, when they announce the launches, if we're that type of customer, when they announce the new phone is coming out, we're first in line. They didn't have to sell you. They didn't have to sell me for that. We're just getting it. We're buying it because we know them, we respect them, then we trust them. May not always like them, by the way, because sometimes the tech breaks. The thing's supposed to be a phone and it doesn't even work as a phone, but it works like it's a supercomputer and a video camera and an audio thing and a map finder and and the email thing works, but the phone doesn't work. I dropped, when I first got my first iPhone back when it first came out all those years ago, I bet you I dropped 20 calls a day in the area I was in our office. I finally turned it back in and then ultimately swung back around. So know you, respect you, trust you, test it, buy it. That puts us in the sales. Now what happens is they buy it. Write this down. You're not in the order business. You're in the reorder business. That's the key. That's starting to get into that back end relationship we shared with you earlier. Reorder. What's the reorder? Or they start to recommend it. They become a raving fan or a super fan. Is that what you want? Or you might start going, you know what? Part of my strategy we call it exit. What does exit mean? Exit means get out of the day-to-day. It means have a business that runs without you. It means you're in your sweet spot more often, if not all the time. It means that you might just completely sell the thing. You might sell it to a customer. You might sell it to a team member. You might then get an investor group to come in and buy it. You start thinking about that exit, or you might even prepare to go public and carry it forward like others have done. You're setting up your marketing and your sales and your fulfillment system to be ready for that. I encourage you to start thinking from that place today. I encourage you to start thinking from that place wherever you walked in today, that ideally you're starting to think much, much bigger. It's like Ant-Man. You went from tiny ant to a giant Ant-Man, right? A metamorphosis because of new skills, new capabilities, and new ways to start looking at, what if you did get one investor who wrote you a check for $100 million? How would that change the game? But do you have the tools? Do you have the marketing and the sales chops? Do you have your business just like a house that you want to sell for a premium? Is it staged properly? Most of the time when we walk in, I can tell you, having worked with some of the most top experts in the world and getting under the hood of their cars, it's almost 99% they don't. which is part of why we come in to help build a system, right? So what's it costing you not understanding that journey, not having those 5 pieces in the wheel, the right strategy, vision, and growth plan, the right connection campaigns, the right lead campaigns, the right education-based events, and the right scaling going deep model, the way to optimize it? Well, let's see if we can't help solve that for you. Because what would happen if you get it in place? What would happen if you had this going at scale and you had just double the amount of traffic right now going through all the phases of that journey we're talking about? You had twice as many people this week, twice as many people through each of these phases, because they have to go through the phases. That's the key. You're not going to jump people from they know you to the referring people or writing you a check for $1 million. That's kind of like, and oh, by the way, if you do run a business that way, it's short-lived. And you know people, and I know people that have had short-lived businesses that maybe for a window, they were very good because they were really great at sales, but they're no longer around. Why? They operated their business more like one-night stands instead of marriage. And here's a difference in marketing. Today's marketing is different. And we'll get into a little bit more. We're going to give you some tactics. You're going to walk away with some powerful tools in the time we've got in this. I'm so excited for you. But here's the thing. If you meet somebody for the first time, you're standing in, at a restaurant and you meet and you greet and you have a nice chemistry and you go, hey, can I get your phone number? And she says yes, or they say yes. And then you immediately go, hey, can I get your physical address? You just went from welcome guest to creepy pest, didn't you? And that's what a lot of people do in their marketing and their sales and their process. And then they go, my marketing's not working. Well, you just scared them away. You asked them to marry you or for a one-night stand, and they could see right through it. They got to know you. They need to have some respect for you and vice versa. They need to trust you to be able to then test it. Okay, now let's go on a date. I'll pick you up. I'll come to your house and pick you up. It's natural progression and humanize, optimize, personalize it. Then they buy in. If they buy in, well, you got some probably good potential there. Then did they buy in? And now are they reordering? Are you seeing them every week now? Are you seeing each other pretty steady, whatever, right? Would they recommend it to their girlfriends or whoever, spouse or other people, that sort of thing? And then is the long-term plan to attract investors, family, bring together, combine families, et cetera, to set up, ideally what could be 50 plus years of an amazing relationship? But most people are not building their business this way. The old way of doing it is very fragmented, very tactical, focusing on one thing. And if it works, great. And if not, they stop doing video or they go run Facebook ads and or social posts. And if it doesn't work after 10 minutes, while all of those things done right, every marketing asset you build should know, trust, respect you, the very least, and look to start moving people to get them to test. And most of the time, because most people just don't get real marketing, they think it's to immediately meet this person 30 seconds and get them to buy, whatever our highest value thing is. The new model for your business is not what you do to them. It's what you do for them. It's not what you do to them to get them to be a client. It's what you do for them to earn the trust, respect, to try it to become a client. They buy in other words. If that's what you want, then I encourage you to really tune into what we're talking. We're going to give you some tactics to support this at each of these stages, barring we have time. The new way of doing this is not these tactical things, but it's intentionally building it, a model that ultimately all of the things you do, if you're doing posts, if you're doing direct response, you're doing advertising, you're doing offline. Oh, by the way, have you heard that one too? Oh, stop doing offline. Don't do direct mail. That doesn't work anymore. Don't do calls. That doesn't work anymore. Just do online. That's idiocy. And there's a lot of experts that you look up to, that I look up to, that I hear it, I'm cringing going, are you out of your mind? Now, if I were them and I ran their agency, of course, I'd probably do the same thing they're doing, maybe. But the truth is, it's not online versus offline. It's both. Do both. Do online and offline. I'll show you some examples of some of the creative stuff that we do. Some of you that are clients, you get mail from us pretty regularly. And we'll continue to, and I'll show you some quick, cool things that you can do. So for most people, though, marketing is what they do to get clients, not what they do for them. So again, the 5 pillars, write these down if you haven't, take a picture. Number 1, vision and growth plan. Number 2, connection campaigns. Number 3, lead machines. Number 4, education-based events, and then going deep to optimize. Now, again, the 5,000 companies we reviewed, Apple doesn't necessarily call what they do in marketing these, but they're doing them. We've analyzed it and they are doing it, and you can do it too. Nike, Disney, so on. So let's talk about your vision and growth plan and moving people strategically through these different pieces to ultimately get more custom, more appointments, more leads, and more clients every single day. Now, We're not going to have time to go into all this, but I wanted to have you do an assessment, right? So I just want to give you the foundation so you get a chance to see it. And if we work together, we help you build these things out in the vision and growth plan for marketing, which is a little different than the scaling side, but it does tie together because this works together like those gears would work together. So you want to identify your why for your business, your vision. And ideally, your clients can know what that is and your team can know what that is. And when you get those together, you have a higher probability. You want to go beyond an avatar. Like, who is your client? Who is your ideal team? Do you have that defined? Do you have it mapped out? What are the models? There are more models, but there are 5 critical models, and we're going to talk about a couple of those here in a few minutes to get in place to help you elevate your game, right? So it's the what. Next is your unique, what we call unique MO. This is 4 critical steps. What makes you unique? A couple of people have mentioned messaging. We'll likely do a bonus session with you. If you really want to go deeper with this, we'll do a bonus session with you to walk you through and customize your unique MO, your unique message. And you'll walk out of it with a brand new message that can be used in every asset you would ever use again. ICO, irresistible core offer. One of the top reasons that most people don't convert more sales is their offers suck. I don't mean that disrespectfully, but it's not what you think, it's what your clients think and feel. And write that word down. It's what my clients think, write this word, critical, and feel about the value. So you can run around and I can run around and go, oh, it's worth X. I know it is. I know it is. Well, but what do your clients feel? What do your potential clients feel? If they feel like they're getting a deal, they'll buy from you. If they don't feel like they're getting a deal at a value, they're not going to buy. It's really that simple. So if you don't, like, you can do great marketing to get them to trust you, to get them to respect you, to get them to know you, and then it's screwed up because the offer sucks. This is the biggest problem. And that's why creating an irresistible core offer is so incredibly important. Again, we'll walk you through that as time permitting. We'll get as far as we can in all these things. The org accountability chart. Who is responsible to lead and drive your marketing? Not just an org chart, but an accountability chart. Who's responsible to get this done, right? Next is your client journey. I've given you an example to be thinking about, and you could copy ours and model it and then go, okay, what are we going to do in each of these phases? I'm going to show you examples of that here in a few minutes. Financial engineering. I'm going to give you this really fast. Every industry is a little bit different. So if we got a chance to sit down, we could get more into your specific situation. But people ask all the time, like, what should I expect to pay to get some visibility for my business, which you can do for literally pennies per client. Pennies. And most people don't understand how to use it to build the trust, build the knowledge, get to know, open that door, as well as, it's like shooting fish in a barrel if you do it right, where you get them to know you, trust you, and respect you, and move them through the relationship more predictably, shorten the time frames of being able to get that done. So what can you expect to pay for visibility? About 2 to 10 cents per client. What can you expect per lead? Like someone that would opt in to get a free, resource, the guide to whatever problem you solve and whatever benefit you provide, the guide to or the checklist to, that sort of thing. Industry specific, we'll narrow it down, but roughly you can expect it to be about $9 to about $29. If you're going to have them attend an education-based event or webinar or challenge or something of that nature, you can expect it to be anywhere from about $19 to $49. What can you expect to invest for someone that, you're driving to book consultations, one-to-one consultations, one-to-one appointments, et cetera? It's going to be anywhere from about $100 to $300 on average. And then what you do is you reverse engineer your business based off that. You're not going to beat it. Don't try to be the cheapest. You try to be the cheapest, you will be out of business, and someone like me will come in and buy your business for pennies on the dollar. I don't want that for you. I don't want to see you a statistic. I don't want to see you on the wrong side of it. You can get this, you can get it right, but you got to engineer it for success, not trying to play to lose. Most people play this game to lose, I have found. Ideally, you're meeting us and you're going, I'm starting to think bigger, be bigger, understand the bigger opportunities, the bigger capabilities, the bigger skills, and you're getting them by being here. And ideally, you're getting them and you're going to apply them and implement them. That's what we want for you. So let's do a quick assessment on this wheel of marketing. I want you to go around this wheel, and we've got 2 wheels here. And really quickly, and this will be a 5-minute total exercise, but for this first wheel, and we'll have some music come up, but all I want you to do is for how, on a scale of 1 low, 10 high, I want you to go in and rate how clear your vision and growth plan is. So let's say you're at an 8. Next, how clear are you on your ideal perfect clients and getting to them? Let's say it's 5. Let's say, how clear are you on your unique message to your perfect clients, right? Some of you might say 3. Campaigns that build trust and respect intentionally. You have campaigns that do that. Let's say that's 1. That's what we see a lot, by the way. Next is paid ads that generate qualified leads, not just leads, but qualified leads. We meet a lot of people usually are in the 1 to 5 range. Social media marketing campaigns. Usually we find a lot of people that are higher on that number, not surprisingly, but then we go, what do you got to show for it? And converted clients, and they go 0. Okay. How's that working for you? Anyway, so go around the wheel. I'm going to have this wheel up for 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and then we're going to switch to the second wheel, which we call the wheel of momentum in this, and you're going to rate those 1 to 10. I just want you to go through it. Once you go through and do each individual number, then write the total number in the top left corner. Everybody good? All right, 5 minutes. We'll do the first wheel that I'll turn back to. It'll be up on the screen. 2.5 minutes. There you go. By the way, our team put a tool available. You can actually go print this, and there's some other insights from it, like where you are, where do you want to go, what needs to happen to make it happen. On top of that, what are your key takeaways, and then who do you need to find to be able to do that? So it's a great centering tool, whether we work together or you ultimately find someone else to work with. I hope that you will find this tool immensely valuable in whatever you do ever again in your business, because it can be such a clarity optimizer for what you're doing. What I want you to do really quick is just kind of take what you've gathered. You should have your number in the top left. I want you to identify what are your key takeaways. Just write it down, because we're going to get to it in a little bit near the end. We're kind of stopping, put a pin in this, and then we're rolling forward. We'll do 2 more type things here over the next couple minutes. And then we're going to get to a place where we ask you to share your takeaways from all of it combined, because right now you might have 3 things that you feel like are $1 million ideas. And then in 20 minutes from now, there might be 9 other things that take precedent over those 3. So we're building into your bigger future, going from where you walked in today to ideally your bigger self overall. If you want to go faster, maybe like Kevin, maybe like several of our clients we've been talking about already, then I want to invite you to apply. Why? In our program, we work one-on-one with you as a personal advisor. We give you accountability. We give you a peer success team. We give you weekly sprints that matches out to quarterly and annual goals, daily support, execution, and an implementation team. We give you the proven roadmaps and tools. We give you exposure. We help you level up your mental game. We help you with the financial benchmarking, so you're not hit with surprises of what's not working and why. Because we get there way before that. We give you access to our team of tech support. And if you'd like our help with helping you grow your business exponentially, to help you implement and execute the marketing for you, well, I invite you to go to this link. You can do this now before they get all booked up, because we all have a certain amount we make available each week. You can go to breakthrough3x.com/apply. We'll walk through a specific custom plan for you. That's what it's about, just like we did for Kevin, just like we've done with every client that we've worked with. We had an initial one-to-one conversation. And I know that breaks a lot of rules. We're going to talk about some of that nonsense in a minute that you've been taught, that you've been misled to not work for you. We're going to have a one-to-one conversation. We're going to review your business. And then we're going to go, here's 3 to 5 key things that you could implement that are going to be needle movers. And if you'd like that, and you'd like to learn how we can help you that way, then go to breakthrough3x.com/apply. What is Breakthrough 3x? We're a fractional CMO marketing team that brings you the tools, the systems, the team to help you execute and implement. Our model is we feed you fish and we teach you to fish, which makes it unlike masterminds, coaching, unlike agencies. It's a hybrid, bringing the best of the best together, giving you access to our team of copywriters, graphic designers, traffic experts, SEO team, email marketing pros, and more. And if we have a fit, and only if we have a fit and there's a match, what ends up happening, what's included when we work together? You get up to 26 one-to-one sessions in a year. You get our bonus day that we do once a year. You get tech onboarding setup. We walk you through Breakthrough 3X University that's customized to you. I believe it was Walter a little bit earlier was sharing the one thing for him that's been most valuable is like the sales scripting that we're making available. Other people, it will be how to go and run certain ad campaigns to drive webinar attendees and a whole lot. We customize it to you, because do you really need another course? Tell me, do you? You don't need another course. You don't need another idea. You need that stuff like you need a hole in your ear. You need useful, relevant things right now to do now, and then what next? Would you agree? And if not, you could say that too. We're going to introduce you to the marketing and business KPIs based on thousands of clients we've worked with over years. You get access to our annual content calendar build out. We help you build out your content calendar so it's in one place for you and your team, whether it's all internal or whether it's fractional or anywhere in between. We also give you access to our growth planner, empathy map. Many of our clients have told us this one thing, we call it Beyond the Avatar process, that we do with research in advance for you, for your client, is worth a whole year working with us, just alone, because they have much more clarity on their messaging. On top of that, we give you swipe files. Now, some of you have gotten our book and some of our resources, some of those things are in there, but again, we customize it. For example, here's an example of a swipe file. We built this for a client, but we have this internally, plus we have dozens and dozens and dozens of clients we built these for. Literally, how great would it be if you could run a webinar or a live cast or a challenge, they're all kind of the same thing, and you were able to generate 228 new clients in 17 days that produced over $350,000 in revenue, and that doesn't include the back-end revenue. Would you like that blueprint? Like, this is what you get with us, right? On top of that, we give you access to bonus trainings. Our experts on our team are some of the best in the world at finance management and hiring to help create systems for that with you. You get access as a fractional CMO and CEO. You get access to a project manager that helps drive your, if we're fit. You get our team of copywriters, tech, automations, SEO, content. You get our traffic team that can run traffic for you. Again, we customize it to you. So all that being said, even if you wanted to write a check this second, just based on what we just covered, you couldn't. We got to see if we're a good fit. We got to see if there's alignment. We see if our values, see if there's opportunity. Our highest value client has paid us over about $1 million. We've helped them grow by over 10 million. We expect if we work together, we're going to be free to you, just like we are with our other clients. So if you want to learn more about how to be able to, set this up for your business and have us do what we do best, which is help clients grow exponentially and implement it with our team of experts, then go to breakthrough3x.com/apply. That's breakthrough3x.com/apply. Now, with that being said, one of the first most important points in this journey, especially as you're looking at getting more new leads, more conversions, higher value clients, begin with the end in mind.